Hello, welcome to the Ghoul's Guide to Santa Barbara, and I know what "nyet nyet" means.
I don't know what movie this is from, but I just was doing a crossword puzzle and it was like, Putin's no. And I was like, oh, I know that. It just made me think about it.
You too know what "nyet nyet" means. May I guess this, Liz?
No.
Okay, that is from what I believe is one of the undervalued classics of our time, the film Dick.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that in like 100 years.
It's so good. Like, it's one of my joyous movies that I rediscover every 5 years. It's got Kirsten Dunst and white Michelle Williams, and like, it's just so good. So funny.
Is it about
Nixon?
Nixon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie.
Like they
Oh, please
somehow
watch
like
it.
solve right? Like they happen upon
They're deep throat.
whole-
yeah.
yeah.
They're like, yeah.
Oh,
So-
sorry. Is it like a comedy?
Yeah. It's so good. It's like, what is All the President's Men? Is that the book or movie? I don't know. My dad was really into like the political thriller genre, but it's just like what would happen if Deep Throat was
like two
actually
teenage
just
girls.
like two idiotic girls.
I love it. Now I'm going to have to watch it.
It's so funny. It is so funny. I don't think I'm overstating that.
Yay.
So that's it.
Cool. Oh, thanks, Summers. Yes, this is the Ghoul's Guide to Santa Barbara, and I'm Liz.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Summers.
And today, Jen is going to tell us about the Lobero Theatre.
I am. It's 1849. The California Gold Rush is getting everyone excited about coming west to seek their fortune. It's the largest migration in American history. So that's the setting for the beginning of our story. This one's... So I'm going to talk about the Lobero Theatre, but it's going to be in some context that was appealing to me as opposed to just telling you the boring history of the buildings. So I'm going to talk about the history of the buildings, but hopefully it won't be quite so boring.
I guess I don't think of Santa Barbara as being a big gold rush area.
Yeah, it was... I mean, it was kind of just, like I said, that time, like everyone was moving out west to quote unquote discover all this gold. We know that there were clearly, obviously, people there living their lives before they were disrupted by the largest migration in American history.
Wow.
One of those people seeking to make his fortune is Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Like of the Vanderbilts or another
That I
Vanderbilt?
don't know. This Vanderbilt had made his money in shipping and railroads, and he sees the opportunity of moving these 49ers between the East Coast and California. However, it's 1849, so there's no Panama Canal yet. So the journey from the East Coast to California, unless you do the across country wagon train route. Is that the right time? Yeah, I guess because this is like Wild West time. In order to go by boat, there's two legs to the journey. So you go down the East Coast into the Caribbean, and then you have to travel across land in Panama. Panama was the narrowest reach across.
Okay.
And then you would board another ship and go up the coast. Cornelius Vanderbilt has his side steamer, the star of his fleet running between San Francisco and Panama, is the Yankee Blade. The Yankee Blade makes what used to be a 3-month journey down to just 3 weeks.
Wow.
And that's 3 weeks from Panama to San Francisco. Not the whole journey, just half the journey.
Okay.
The Yankee Blade offers luxurious rooms, new amenities like access to the ship's doctor while you're on board. And yeah. So, he wants this ship to be a beacon of prosperity and, excitement about this new fortune that you're going to gain by coming out west.
Okay.
He hires an artist to create a golden eagle to adorn the Yankee Blade. The eagle's made of white oak. The body is white oak. The wings are California redwoods, and it's fully wrapped in gold leaf.
Are there photos?
There
No.
are.
There are.
Yes.
Wait. The whole ship? No.
Like
What's wrapped in gold leaf? Just the eagle?
The entire steamer wrapped
I know
by
that was
hand
such a
in gold
stupid
leaf.
question, but I really did think that.
No, just the eagle.
Just the eagle?
But the
Okay.
whole eagle. Hundreds of feathers. Like, it's beautiful.
It's a big eagle.
Wow.
Golden eagle. It is the cherry on top of the sundae of the Yankee blade. So,
What?
so in October of 1854, the Yankee blade runs aground on its journey between San Francisco and Panama.
We've got a trend with Jen's stories here.
Oh, yes,
Boats
we
running
do.
aground.
Because the Yankee blade runs aground off Point Pedernales, aka Honda Point.
No way.
Same Devil's Jaw that has now claimed the 14 destroyers from our previous story.
Wow.
My previous story. So a quote from the October 10th, 1854 edition of the Sacramento Daily Union is, "The idiot captain was racing full speed in the fog as a bet with another captain to
Oh my
see who
gosh.
could make it to Panama first." So once again,
Yeah. So much
is that
racing.
proud.
Hubris? Is that what that's called?
Exactly. So we have another cocky captain in the fog, runs aground
Wow.
at Honda Point. So the Yankee blade splinters and sinks. Approximately 40 of its 1,200 passengers are lost.
Oh.
And the ship goes down with tons of gold bullion and freshly minted coins.
Wow. Is it still there?
It might be.
Is gold bullion like beef bullion?
I don't think it's tiny cubes that
No.
dissolve in
Is
water.
it like gold? Is it gold bars? Like
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like bars.
Bars? Okay.
So I'm assuming if they called out that as opposed to the minted coins, that
Yeah.
it's probably like gold in its
Did they save the eagle?
original form. Well, we're going to get
Okay.
to that.
I gotta know.
A couple months later, a ranch hand on Santa Rosa Island, remember Santa Rosa's kind of towards
Nope.
No,
further
do
down.
not remember.
I'll have to look
Okay.
at a map.
Well, you can look at a map. So a ranch hand on Santa Rosa Island who's working at his uncle's cattle ranch is riding along the beach and spots some wreckage in the beach rack. The eagle has landed. So he goes out and amongst the wreckage finds our slightly less gilded eagle.
Oh, buffeted by waves.
Yes.
Yep.
So at some point, sources just referred to it as under a year. Some point later, someone brings the eagle over to the mainland into the small town of Santa Barbara and ends up at a saloon owned by Jose Lobero.
Ah,
Saloon.
Jose Lobero was born Giuseppe Lobero in Genoa, Italy, before immigrating to the United States. He was a trombone player and had a dream of opening an opera house in Santa Barbara to bring some of that European culture to the Wild West. So he thinks he's going to, appeal to the population, even though at the time, Santa Barbara had fewer than 3,000 people.
So what you need is opera.
Not just an opera house, but he purchases the site of an old schoolhouse and turns it into what at the time was the largest adobe building in California, which featured a suspended balcony and seated 1,300 people.
Amazing.
So he's going to get like half the city to show up for his venues,
that's
for his
confident.
performance. Yes. So Giuseppe has dreams. The theater opens in 1873, and after trading it at his saloon for a bottle of whiskey, the Yankee Blade Eagle is mounted proudly over the stage.
Oh, is it still there?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
You must know.
I can't wait. Sorry.
The theater managed to bring some opera to town, but it competed with the melodramas, vaudeville acts, and minstrel shows, which were popular at the time. The Eagle presided over the stage for more than 40 years until the theater went dark in 1917. Even though the gold rush had brought prosperity, there were fewer well-to-do people than not, and entertainment was a luxury at the time. The Panic of 1873 had led to many banks folding, and even though the two banks in Santa Barbara managed successfully, locals began spending less on luxuries like theater outings. So Mr. Lobero, being more of an artist than a businessman, even with his mildly successful musical career, his saloon, and the theater, Eventually, he falls into debt and starts drinking heavily.
Uh-oh.
He ends up losing both the saloon and the theater. And when his body couldn't keep up with his drinking and he kind of gets older, things become more painful for him just to go about day-to-day life. He falls into a depression and eventually takes his own life.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
After that, the theater limps along with little to no creative leadership, and eventually the building falls into disrepair until it was eventually declared unsafe.
And it was still Adobe at this
Yes.
point. Okay.
After that, so then the 1924 earthquake damages the building even more. It's eventually torn down. After the earthquake, a community group dedicated to the arts decides to tear down the old decrepit opera house and build a new theater in its place. So between the tear down and the rebuild, the Eagle ends up at a salvage auction where it's bought in 1929 for $5 by a turkey farmer named Mary Kinnivan.
Turkey farmer.
So Mary places the Eagle above the gate to her ranch up off the San Marcos Pass, where at some point it was shot with an arrow, and the arrow had lodged into the wood, broke off, and it remained until 1961, when amateur historian Ike Bonilla has a dream where he sees the eagle, the famous eagle from the theater, the opera house, up somewhere on San Marcos Pass. So he drives up and spots it on the Kinnivan's ranch gate. He discusses with the family, and they donate the eagle to the Santa Barbara Historical Museum.
What a crap thing to have a premonition about. Like,
So weird.
so weird.
I had this dream where this random eagle, I mean, I don't know. There's another kind of amateur historian involved, but I don't know what his connection to it was. I don't know whether they had been, I don't know, talking about this eagle. Hey, have you ever heard of the, you know, there was this, or like saw a
And he
picture.
just like
and
The
subconsciously.
stupid boat eagle. Like, who
I'm
cares?
not sure what prompted the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whether it was like, you know, I don't know, Eagle Jesus was talking to him.
And also, like, why did she have an eagle above her turkey farm gate? Like,
Well, I
here's
do
an
have
eagle.
I do have a photo.
Okay.
And it's pretty common. Like a lot of ranches will have kind of a big gate,
Yeah.
and it has, you know, there's sort of a
But I feel like
not an arch.
here's
but
an eagle, and inside my farm, I have different birds.
So why is it not a turkey?
Yeah,
I don't know, I think she
exactly.
probably just like saw it at the auction and
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, that's cool. I can put it in my house."
I would do that. Okay.
Eventually, Brett Hodges, both a Lobero and Santa Barbara Historical Museum board member, discovers the eagle worn, shot with an arrowhead, and covered in layers of gloopy brown paint.
Oh.
He works with Daisha Harwood, the museum executive director, and Chris Bailey, who restored the eagle to its former glory over a period of 9 months, removing every single layer of paint and recovering it in gold leaf.
Wow.
Oh, we know Daisha's husband.
Oh.
Riley,
Oh, yeah.
delightful former coworker.
So the eagle is presented in its new glory. I don't know what's the opposite of former glory. New glory.
Renewed.
Refurbished glory.
Refurbished glory. It's presented during the 150th anniversary of the theater on February 22nd, 2023, and it now resides in the lobby of the theater. That's the story of the eagle. The Lobero Theatre, in its post-earthquake incarnation, is known as California's oldest continuously operating performing arts theater.
But it
Wow,
wasn't
really?
It wasn't continuous, though, was it?
The theater,
Oh,
not the opera house.
Oh, what's the
Theater
difference?
So wait,
is
but-
the California's oldest continuously running performing arts theater.
I don't know what the difference between the theater and the opera house is. Are they two different
The
buildings?
opera house closed, so that's not
okay.
continuously
Okay.
So
running.
once it
So the new
restarted-
building is
Yes.
Got it.
Got
Yes,
it, got
the
it, got
new
it.
building. So the new theater was designed by George Washington Smith and Luda Maria Riggs in the Spanish colonial revival style that George Washington Smith is known for, and is now rigidly imposed on every building in Santa Barbara. Miss Riggs was the first licensed female architect in Santa Barbara and first woman in California to be named a fellow of the American Institute of Architects.
Cool.
That's awesome.
In its history, the theater has hosted some of the biggest names in the performing arts. Brubeck, Batson, Barrymore, Baryshnikov, and me.
What did you do there?
I danced tap, ballet, and jazz from the time I was 5 till I was 15, and my studio performed every year.
Will you dance for our TikTok?
No, I will not.
Okay.
So I've performed many times on the Lobero stage and have hung out a whole lot backstage. It's hosted graduations, exhibitions, political rallies, acrobatic shows, magic performances, and apparently in the Victorian era, they held seances every Sunday night for tourists and on Tuesday nights in the basement for locals.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm guessing this was probably related to our friends over in Summerlin.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe held some of
Hey, Lobero leadership who are definitely listening to this podcast, bring that back.
Yes.
It would be just us every week.
Every Tuesday night in the basement.
Yes.
That's where we're going to start recording this
Did
podcast.
you ever see the basement?
So I have been in the basement. I've been like I said, I mean, I spent a lot of time there. So all of these next little things I'm going to tell you about, I definitely was in the area. The Lobero Theatre has also been the location of multiple deaths and is relatively regarded as being haunted by multiple spirits. So now we're going to move to April 1st, 1938. It's the West Coast premiere of Golden Boy, a Broadway show about a musically talented young Italian-American named Joe Bonaparte, who has to choose between his love of the violin and a career as a boxer.
What? As you do.
This play apparently was very well received on Broadway, and that's why it now is going on a touring trip around. And this premiere is kind of the, like, they're testing it out before they take it on the road. So So it opens at the Lobero with Francis Lederer as Joe, the title role, and Joseph Greenwald as Joe's father. In front of a packed house, Joseph Greenwald delivers his line in the second act, "I waited for this moment all my life," and suddenly collapses, dying of a heart attack in the middle of the show.
Whoa.
It's a little on the nose, right?
Yeah. So everyone's escorted out of the building, tickets are refunded, and performances are canceled all week until they can find a replacement. And I had, I read about Joseph and his life as an actor. Is very interesting. I thought about maybe including some more in here, but I just didn't know if I had time. So it's a shame about Mr. Greenwald, and I would suggest reading up on his interesting life. Our second little spirit we're going to talk about is Harry Pittiola. Harry was an employee of the Lobero who lived in a dressing room upstairs that had been converted into an apartment. He was a combination night watchman, handyman, caretaker who died in the apartment and is said to haunt the building.
Whoa. So they knew he was there. He wasn't like squatting.
They knew he was no, he was not squatting. He was squatting. Yeah, so he was like a figure of the Lobero. Everyone that, performed there knew him. And he was also like, they said he was a bit of a drinker and then also a bit of a trickster. So it's pretty well known. There's been many reported instances of, I read one where some people were down in the basement and heard things being dragged across the main stage, and they went upstairs and nothing was there.
Zoinkies.
And then they went back downstairs and heard the things being dragged back the other direction. And they were like, okay, we're just gonna go now.
Yeah.
Is the apartment still there?
I don't. So like I said, I've been in there and I've been upstairs in those dressing rooms. I think the room is still there, obviously, but it's probably either like a storage room or a dressing room again.
Got it.
But yeah. There's also an article that I referred to by Matt Mazza in the Santa Barbara Sentinel. He went and attempted to like stay in the theater. Like he basically got locked into the theater and everyone left. And one of the things that he reported before he quickly decided to go ahead and head out was he was sitting on the stage and he heard some stuff, and then at one point he turned around and there was a push broom behind him on the stage that hadn't been there before.
No.
So he was like, okay, I'm out.
Wow.
But yeah, so people will report general loud bangings, draggings, and shenanigans in the theater that are attributed to Harry. Another well-known spirit of the theater is Dr. Frank Fowler. He was the first director of the Alcahema Theater, which was Santa Barbara's first community theater. I tried to look up, like, did he die at the Lobero? Like, I don't understand quite why he's connected to the Lobero Theater, if he was the director of a different community theater, or if that community theater was, because sometimes they refer to like a community theater as a theater group of people.
Sure, right.
And then
but they
perform at a different theater.
Like
So someone can write in and tell me that I'm wrong.
Where would they write in?
They could contact us at our social medias, or they could email us at Ghoul's Guide to Santa Barbara at gmail.com.
Ghoul's Guide to SB.
Ghoul's Guide to SB at gmail.com. Email us and tell me everything I got wrong.
No, don't do that. Just
related to this
group.
specific episode.
We're very sensitive.
So Mr. Fowler is often seen wearing a tuxedo and hanging out in the audience of the theater or the wings off stage. Multiple people have reported instances of him clapping in the theater late at night, or performers on stage will look out to the audience and see a man in a tuxedo and hat and tails, which sticks out from the audience who is dressed in modern clothing.
When you go to the
theater?
I
always wear a tux and tails when I go to the theater. I don't know about you guys. Since 1924, the theater has operated a ghost light, which is a single standing utility bulb sitting center stage that is lit by the last person who leaves at night and turned off by the first person who arrives. Ghost lights are used in theaters for both practical and supernatural functions. Before the invention of electricity, each theater had a gas generator, and leaving a small flame burning prevented buildup of pressure in the lines, which could explode.
Oh, okay.
After several hundred theaters burned down this way,
oh gosh,
the switch to electric was welcomed. Not burned down because of the ghost lights, burned down because there was no lights lit and the pressure built up.
Got it.
Then there was an explosion.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So there's a tradition of leaving a small flame to alleviate the gas pressure. Somehow through the years, tradition became superstition, and leaving the light on was thought to appease ghosts and spirits. Dark stages create restless and resentful ghosts who will then create havoc. Another superstition claims that not leaving a ghost light on can cause bad luck for your production.
Uh-huh.
Some believe that ghosts of former actors use the ghost lights to perform on stage. Some believe that ghosts of former actors use the ghost lights to perform on stage, with some theaters traditionally being dark one day a week to allow the spirits a day to put on their own performances.
Oh, interesting.
Aww. That makes more sense. Okay, I don't believe in ghosts, but if I did, I feel like they'd have night vision. But
I know.
It
seems weird,
but it's cute.
That ghosts would need our modern conveniences.
I know. It's cute though if they're putting on little plays.
That is.
Yeah.
But what's funny is if they're all from different eras and they're all in different plays.
Like, Mr. Fowler, do you have to wear that tuxedo for every performance?
It's all nonsensical. The lines don't interact in any way.
I know. Is it like in Harry Potter, where all the ghosts just have their different personalities and they just kind of float around and interact and do their own thing?
on BBC Ghosts, they do like a play at Christmas, and it's a new play.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I guess it depends on your like theory of mind related to ghosts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
A dark stage can also indicate no productions running or an unsuccessful show closing or a lack of funding.
Okay.
The Lobero Theatre Ghostlight Society dates back to the core donors of its rebuilding in 1924, and its members pledged their time, talent, and treasure to keep the arts alive.
Ghost Light Society.
Such a good name.
I love
No,
it.
get
Right?
this. Their members are called luminaries.
Oh, I like it.
That's too much.
Is that funny?
I think it's sweet. A quote from the Lobero website states, "These donors provide the leadership and support that brings life to our stage. The strong and steady support of the Lobero Ghostlight Society will illuminate our behind-the-scenes efforts and, like the steadfast bulb at center stage, keep our vibrant theater from ever going dark."
Cool.
I like that.
I like
I
that.
like that too.
This is so interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the entertaining history of the Lobero, the things that I found really interesting about.
Did you see recently, gosh, was it the New York Times? There was like this list of like the 10 most beautiful theaters in the
yes,
world.
they were number 11.
The Lobero was number 11.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. I do like the Lobero, but
But is it the 11th most beautiful theater in the world?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to all of them, but like
I haven't been to every theater.
the seats are real small.
They are.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the current Lobero only holds like 600 something people,
Yeah. And
which
like,
seems very small, but I guess it's like intimate and
so, I went to a show there once, and a lady who is similarly plus size to me came up and she's like, "These are old seats. We're going to get real comfortable together." And then we just like leaned on each other the whole time.
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we went there, the three of us.
Yeah, we did.
I think that was our first outside of work hours outing together?
Maybe.
We went to go see Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was good.
That was
That was a
fun.
great show.
But we're comfy together anyway. So it was fine.
I know, but like for
Cozy up.
me, that's a big because
To hang out with
Yeah, 'cause
coworkers
I
outside
have-
of work.
Oh, no, I meant seats wise.
Yeah, no.
Physically comfortable.
it was a milestone for me because I'm rather strange about blurring the lines between
over.
work friendship or work people and real life friends.
So are we ready for a
I
magic
think we're
8-ball?
ready for an 8-ball question. Mine would just be,
Is the Lobero haunted?
yeah.
No, you know what? Actually, I have. Let's ask the magic 8-ball if Mr. Fowler died at the Libero.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Okay.
the
that
other
was
guy.
the only question. That was the only question I couldn't get answered in
That
my
was-
research.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, definitely.
Ooh.
So again, if you can refute
Yeah.
the magic 8-ball, feel free to
Which,
message us on Instagram
Doubtful.
at Ghouls Guide to SB
yes,
or
please.
Facebook at Ghouls Guide to SB.
Or YouTube, where we have a new presence and you can kind of watch our episodes, but it's just a slide.
You can
But
listen.
you can listen and you can leave comments on the episode.
Yay. You can also rate and review us on, is that just Apple Podcasts or can they
I think you can rate on Spotify
you
also.
can rate on?
I
Or
think you
wherever.
can leave.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
We're just desperate to know if
We just want some
anyone
interaction.
is listening and has any strong supportive comments for our fragile
Because again,
egos.
we are sensitive.
I just see like several nervous people trying to email us. Like, is this nice enough? It's fine. We're not that sensitive.
We love hearing feedback and we've had some anecdotal feedback, but we'd love to have some reviews to point out to people.
Yeah. Let
And
us.
also, please subscribe.
Yes, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we'll have a new episode for you each week.
Woo!
We're going to record them right now.
No, shh. We record weekly.
We don't.
We don't batch record.
We don't. We may in the future, though. Who knows? All right. Thanks for listening.
See you
Bye,
next
Mom.
time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Ghoul's Guide to Santa Barbara. Like and subscribe on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ghoul's Guide to SB.
Our website is ghoulsguidetosb.com. Got a spooky story or know of a haunted or paranormal location in Santa Barbara? Send it to us at ghoulsguidetosb@gmail.com.